Well, hello everyone. It's Big Ed here with my friend Kristen. She sits there with the money tree right behind her, and she's got her lucky shirt ready for St. Patrick's Day. And today we're going to talk about different topics and part of my attire. You know, it's Fun Day Friday, and I've got Fun Day sweatshirt on with my nice hat and my whole garb. So, um, I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about the spring market. I know Kristen, she does works in the mortgage industry. I work in the real estate industry. And Kristen, I know we talked a little bit before, but we're going to look about what's trending and what's hot and what's not. And what do you think what's happening right now?
Well, it's hard to tell out here in Sussex County because it was snowing this morning. There's still ice on the ground. So people are in a little bit different mindset than spring market. But blinking of an eye, it's 50, 60 degrees out. So it is time to prepare for that. Now, I'm wondering if you're seeing if things are still the same with as is conditions. Like I know everything was coming over as is, and my clients.
Well, I'm going to give you an example. Yeah, I'm going to give you an example. See the house behind me? That's a house that I recently sold. And the homeowner took such a proactive approach when we say we're going to list his home. Okay, so prior to listing his home, he went through, he made all the repairs, everything, every suggestion I gave him, decluttered, got the house ready, updated the paint, looked for any cracks and things like this. So this home behind me that I sold was actually very easy to sell. It actually sold within a day because all the little things were taken care of. Now, to answer your question, if his home is selling as is, if it's ready or not, are they going quickly? It really depends on the home. Three things, that always determine it: or the location, the condition, and the price, right?
Exactly.
So, and if you're looking at what's happening in the home itself or at a home itself, I've seen it both ways. I see it depends on where it is. There was a home that I just showed this weekend in Medford. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very desirable open house. They had a lot of people there. Price point was good. And my client wanted to put an offer in. And their offer was not as is, but so they could have gotten an as is offer. That could have been one of the things that they wanted to do. I've seen houses sell where they come and they ask me for certain conditions, whether or not they ask for a concession or something like this.
Yeah.
It depends on demand and it depends on emotion. There's so many things
that I haven't seen in a while is like right before closing, a seller concession gets thrown on there because they just wanted something fixed, go to walk through, and they're just like, no, this is changed. Like, I need this taken care of. So I have seen it more lately. And I know that, every listing, because I don't see that part of it on the listing service. Does every one of them say now as is, or are you starting to see that come off?
Well, it's the conversation you have to have with the seller. You have to look at the home itself. That's why that walkthrough and that disclosure is so important, to go through the house and to check those things when you're working with your seller to see if there's what needs to be done and that kind of thing. It really depends on the house.
If you're going to sell a house top dollar and it needs, excuse my French, a shit ton of work, you're not going to get top dollar. Or if you sell something and it's pristine, you're going to get top dollar, and there might not be any room for negotiations on any kind of seller credit because everybody wants that house. It's beautiful location. It's, spotless. And I know a lot of times people will ask for a ridiculous thing. When I was selling my condo in Panther Valley, people wanted money because the sink was a little loose. I was like, no. Just tighten it up. If I was handy and I had to tighten up, I'd do it for you. But I'm sure your husband can figure out how to tighten up that sink. So, like sometimes there's silly things people ask for, which I haven't seen in a while.
Well, and so there's certain things that need to be done. But like I said, it really is determining on the how many people really want that home, how many people are coming to that home. A lot of times what I see also is if I'm in an open house or I'm running an open house for one of my sellers and we have a lot of people there, everybody's giving each other like almost like the side eye, like, oh, or they'll make a comment. Sometimes they'll play gamesmanship where they'll say, well, you might want to look out for that or something like this because they really like the home.
Scare them away.
So it comes down to buying a home and selling a home. What I realized, and after all my years in education, getting into this and really learning the business, it really comes down to emotion. It comes down to, what you're willing to deal with when
Right.
you're looking to purchase. Now, some buyers, they just want everything brand spanking new. You walk into a house, now you find that, everything is like perfect for you.
Mm-hmm.
But really, what you should do, and this is one thing I do with my clients, is I always look at the major systems. I always look at the roof. I look at the mechanicals. I
Especially
do all the non. What's
now.
that?
Especially roofs with insurance now. They're
Well, yeah, and you got to look at things from the perspective of you want to the big ticket items that are going to cost a lot of money. You're looking at whether or not the house is getting water anywhere. You're looking to see if the walls and the foundations are great. And I'm not a home inspector. I always definitely suggest that you get one. But I do, I mean, just from knowledge of showing so many homes and working with a lot of clients, I do get to see um, that there are, things there that you might want to stay away from.
all right. So next thing, buyer or seller's market. Where are we at, Ed?
Well, like I said, it really depends.
Yeah.
I would say we need more listings. There's not a lot of inventory out there. Things that are sitting, there's most likely is where it's priced at, because there's going to be a buyer. It depends on what you price the home at. Um, but yeah, right now I still think we're in a seller's market because the lack of inventory, especially in certain areas. If you're in a hot area and you're looking to sell your home,
Got
the big question always comes down to me is, okay, now Ed, I sold my home. Now where am I going to go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I've
so
had parents say that too. Well, if I sell the house, where am I going?
it's a legit question. I
Mhm.
had people that go and they rent properties or they rent somewhere for a little bit until they're waiting to see. I don't think we're ever going to go. Well, I can't say never. I don't have a crystal ball, but I also don't think that we're going to be hitting the twos and threes as far as
Not my
interest
lifetime.
rates.
Maybe my kids' lifetime, but not mine. I don't
Right.
think. Yeah.
So the way that is right now.
Oh, there is an illness in Congo coming out.
What's that?
There's some kind of illness killing people in the Congo.
Oh, that's good.
Isn't that how some
nice.
kids were eating bats, and now
All right, we're like going down this
we're
slope here.
trying to contain it. So, but the reason why everything got so artificially low is because of COVID. So that's why if there, God forbid, was another like illness come through, that may be an opportunity for us to see low rates. But do we really want that? No. Keep your fat eating disease. I'll keep my 6% interest rates that are they're at now, and we call it a day.
Well, like I said, and going back to where we were, it's a seller's market because there's a lack of inventory out there, and I think that everything's a pendulum. It swings both ways, and I'm starting to see now. Yes, there is more as is, not so much. Excuse me, there is not that much as is. People are asking for certain things to get done. There's more discerning buyers out there. It depends on the home, and it depends on the location, and it depends on the price. But I do see it on average. Like before, like 2 years ago, if you had a listing, everything was as is. Buyer was responsible for everything. Things weren't. Yeah. So now it's a change, and I have seen that. That you have to be more realistic when you're selling a home. And really, when you are selling a home, this is what I try to impress upon my clients all the time, is you guys want to make sure your home is in its best light. Go through with a critical eye. It's so important to sit back there and say, okay, I want to buy this house. What do I want this house to look like?
I always say when I'm ready to sell this house, the first thing I'm doing is redoing all the floors because these two big boys of mine, the dogs ripped up the floors. It's like having livestock now. So I know, like, I would go through and say, these floors out. I don't know if that would be like something that somebody else would say, but I know if I walked into a house to buy it and I saw shredded floors, I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. And it's a distraction. It's an eye distraction. You see everything pretty and then you see shredding floors. Like it just throws it all off.
Sure. And anything like that, so then what does that sign say when you have a shredding floor? And not that this person doesn't take care of their home, that, I'm going to have to maintain possibly other things. There could be a problem with subflooring. Who knows what's happening with anything else. So people, their minds go certain ways. And so you really want to go in with the discerning eye or just feel like, you know what, I'm looking to sell this house. I want to get my maximum dollar for this house. This is what I'm going to do to get that to
You know,
get that going and really think about it in a way where your mind, you're thinking as the buyer.
yeah.
So sometimes you have to like reverse engineer it a little bit.
Now,
It's
do
not
people
rocket science.
like, okay, so when you walk in the house, so people ask you, all right, so what do you think I should really fix? Because I don't want to spend money on something that nobody's going to care, not going to bring me extra money in return. So, like bathrooms, kitchens, like things like that, you'd say, yeah, that's going to bring extra value. But if somebody
Right.
wants to start, you know, redoing something, do you kind of just tell them maybe you don't really need to do that? Because I know like a lot of times people start to want to do whole renovation projects.
Well, it comes down to like what's your budget, right? How
Mm-hmm.
much you're willing to spend or what you're going to get in return.
Yeah.
You know,
All about.
kitchens and bathrooms are always a way to make money. Obviously, they're the two biggies, right? Is there a way to improve those two items? Can you get it to where you update them a little bit so they're a little more modern? Things like something simple that's really easy. Say if you have like everybody likes the nice white pristine, electrical outlets,
Yeah.
right? You want them to look nice. Well, they're not expensive to go in and replace those outlets. If you have, or if, like my parents, they had for some reason, I guess back in the 70s and the 80s, more the 80s, I think, they went to black receptacles, and now you
I
have
see a lot of wooden ones too, like old
or the
wooden.
wooden ones. Yeah, that was like a big thing. So yeah, you have that, so they look dated or gold or
Yeah.
something like this, and
I had
they may come back.
rough people like, what is that?
Yeah, they may come back.
Mhm.
But as of now, they're not. So something like replacing, get a contractor pack, hiring a handyman, put something like that in, switching those things around. That will be a benefit to you.
That don't cost you much is going to bring so much value. It's going to
Right.
make a clean visual for people. So I love that.
Yeah.
And and the rates have come down over the past couple weeks. I mean, nothing like astronomical. You see the internet and the news. It's like rates have plummeted. They didn't plummet. They come down some. We're
Listen, it's all about the hype, right?
yeah.
So, but perception then becomes reality also. And
Mhm.
that's what's like when you're selling your home, you're trying to put your home obviously in the best light. You identify what's been positive. Don't think, and this is where, not to talk about my parents, but when I was
Mhm.
selling their one house, they bought a house in Cherry Hill years and years ago. I sold their home. Now there were some added features that they put in the late 80s or the 90s, and they're like, well, they don't understand this was an add-on, or they don't understand like this was an addition. When people come see your house, they see it as a whole. They don't
Right.
really, they're not going to go back and say, you know what, that's even more value, because they see it as a whole.
Yeah.
So
Coming up
just because you spent X amount of dollars on certain things doesn't mean that they're going to pay the extra money. They might appreciate the house. You might get the value by just looking at it, but they're not going to like give you extra money or think they are, because the feature that's already there is already there.
What do you think, like, as the ice and the snow and the greenery starts to come back, like, to get a nice little overhaul outside, to get that grass cut down nice, trim any kind
Oh
of
yeah,
bush like that? To me, when I pull up to a house and it looks,
curb appeal.
well,
Curb appeal.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. You want when you yeah, you don't want the house to look like a mess. I mean, look at the house behind me right here.
mhm,
You can see that the way that this house is well kept and well maintained. And this is he cut the grass, he,
mhm,
he gets it done. He has a sprinkler system that was in the home, so that grass was very well maintained. It was very good. The bushes that were trimmed and neat behind him. Any sort of lighting, he has uplighting. The uplighting that he chose was like a cast kind of lighting, which is actually very exquisite. It's good. It's good solid lighting. It's stuff that you put in the house. So those things matter. They definitely matter. And people see, they want to be there. They want to live there. They want to live in this warmth and comfort. And that's the reason why I put this house up behind me, because, like I said, the gentleman did this, and the husband and the wife team, they did a fantastic job of getting their house ready. I mean, everything was soup to nuts. They did what they could do. Now, look, not everybody has the budget to do that.
yeah.
So the little things that you
You have
can do,
financing though, because if you want to get the biggest pool of buyers to compete on your house, if you have crumbling stairs or you have things that are not going to pass inspection for appraisal, that's
right?
another thing too. Like, you want to open up your buyers pool to as many people as you can. So I would always suggest, like, safety and health issues if they're, something, cosmetics different. We don't care if you got cosmetic, but if your house is like all peeling paint, and even I noticed some of the appraisals come back with like green mold they want removed outside the house, just from like having trees hanging over on the side of the house that leaves that filth.
Simple.
Yeah.
Those things are simple. Actually, the green mold, the one thing that I found in my arsenal that I tell my clients to use all the time, you could go to Home Depot or Lowe's or Home Improvement Store, and they have this product called Mold Armor. And you just attach it to the end of your hose, and it's fantastic. I mean, it'll get rid of. I'm not sure about the moss on roofs. I know that might be a little more, but that's something that you definitely want to take care of. You don't want that on top of your roof.
The appraiser goes out, because once the appraiser sees something, then it opens all kinds of doors. What is this? We got to get rid of it. You got to pay for a reinspection. So if you see that there's green stuff on the side of your house, go get your mold armor and
mold armor. I mean, you could pressure washer it too, which is fine. But the mold armor is a quick and easy fix. It makes it look nice, and it's only like a couple bucks at your local home store. So it's just little things like that. I mean, one of the biggest things that I always see, and we're talking about the spring and now at the end of the winter, with the water damage, what could do to a home is unbelievable.
The water scares me. That's the one thing when I see like water damage, I'm like, oh, where did that come from? How'd that happen?
Exactly. So get the water away from your house. Don't just have your downspouts shooting water directly at your foundation. Even if you have a crawl space, it doesn't matter. Get the water, away from your home. The water is way worse than wind as far as, damage. You could ask anybody, especially in the insurance industry. That's what we're going to tell you.
And
get the water away from your house.
If somebody wants to list their house and they call you, you're going to give them tips on things that stand out to you. Just because you've done this for so long and sold some house, you're going to know, okay, this is going to need to really be fixed. This might be a indication of something you need to remedy. So,
Right.
People don't have to go crazy and try to figure it out on their own. They can
No, and that's why when I go out and meet with people, I sit down with them, we walk the house. And we say, look, they ask me, well, what do I have to do here? What do I have to do there? I show them, and then I talk to them. So I'm speaking like right now. If you want to go through a discerning eye, you want to find things, and you really want to pick apart your own house when you're walking through it, and don't just say it's good enough, because they'll say on the other end that price is good enough.
Yeah, right. And then on the flip side, if you work with a buyer. And they walk into a house and they're just so excited because they love the location. It's great for their kids' school. Maybe they're not looking at some of the things that you foresee in the future as something that could be a problem for them. You just need that for the home inspector to kind of like pick up on.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things, if we don't pick up on it, the home inspector, that's their job.
Right.
They go through. A good home inspector doesn't just like glance over anything. They get under the crawl space. They check the nitty gritty. They make sure that there's no issues. They look into your wiring. They take not the power box. What's what I'm looking for?
So the people still waive the home inspections?
That's silly. To me, that's.
I saw a lot of contracts
mistake you can make
where they waived all kinds of.
They say, look at it this way.
Extreme things like structural damage.
Well, the thing is, I've seen that too. And that's the thing is, you have to be, none of us are attorneys, but you really have to be specific on the language, because then a good lawyer could pick apart any of that language. Okay. You want to get your home inspections. This is probably the biggest purchase you're going to make. So why wouldn't you get the?
Then you know what to prepare for when you move in. Okay.
Sure, and that's another thing that a home inspection does for you. Not only does it give you like what's wrong with the house, it tells you about the house.
We got to get
how to shut off your water. It tells you how to maintain the like certain things on the outside. It tells you like so it gives you like at least what to look for, how give you a ballpark on life expectancy. There's so many different things that it provides.
Awesome. All right. So the 5 top things to declutter before listing your home. Like, what are we decluttering? Closets, basements?
Well, yeah. You want the people to see themselves in a space that they can live in. You want to see themselves in a space that's clean, open.
Everything. Like a lot of times I'll go to houses with agents doing open house, and I'll see like you open the garage and there's boxes to the ceiling. That's people are understanding of that though, right? Like they're not going to expect you to have nothing. Or do you?
Yeah, they want it to be clean. They want it to be open. They want to see like here's an example. I'm changing my screen behind me. Okay. And you can see this house. Now this house is actually still on the market. Just went back on the market. This is virtually staged. So honestly, all the couches, this and everything is not there. But even with the virtual staging, you could see how it's simplistic. It's an open space. This house is actually huge, and I think you were here at this one with me.
Is that gorgeous townhouse?
Yeah, it's a gorgeous townhome. 7-quarter in Marlton. If anybody's looking, huh?
Because I like the virtual staging for people to see, because a lot of people, including myself, do not have a good eye for things. I can't walk in and see, oh, here's a potential. The couch could fit here, a bed will fit there. Like, I'm not good with dimensions and scaling out things. So when people see that, they'll say, oh, yeah, that looks like about my size and my dining room table. Right. That looks like about the size of my couch, so they can kind of visualize it better.
Well, that's what we do. We do the virtual staging. Also, one thing we do that with my clients is I offer floor plans.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you go into a newer home, you always see the floor plan, the space, the dimensions. We can get you on with our sellers on a certain package. We offer floor plans. Now, what's really cool about that, the buyer sees what the dimensions are on the property. They can pre-plan when they're purchasing the home. They know how big that area is. And now they can start, planning for what their furniture is like. So those things are huge. And so those kind of things, I think they definitely make a difference when you're looking to buy or when you're looking to buy a home, but also makes a difference as a seller to show, how big a certain space is. But if you're talking about decluttering closet space, you want to organize your basement.
They open up closets. I don't know if they're supposed to, but I've seen people just look in. I guess
an open house, it's not easy because you're trying to honor your client's wishes, but they have to understand that opening the closet, they want to see how big the closet is, how much space do they have.
It's like kind of leave the closet door open a little bit so people can kind of see in without having to open it.
Yeah, so they don't like ruffle through your clothes or whatnot. Yeah, you can do that. The basements, if you have like little kids with the toys and everything else, just make sure that they're organized, that they can see the space. So there's a lot of things you can do. Like if you're a person who have a lot of collectibles, just put the collectibles away. Maybe have 2 or 3 pieces out, but you don't want your whole collection out there.
What about things?
So
you recommend people get rid of like family photos and like things that show if they're Catholic or Jewish or like things like that? Because
the thing is, it's like, look, you live there, it's your home.
Yeah.
I never want to take away. First of all, foremost, don't want to take anybody's religion. That's their religious life. Sometimes that's what they believe it should be like on a door or something like this, because that's who they are.
Right.
I think that's new people moving in, they could change the house when they move in. I will say, don't try to depersonalize as much as you can, but also with the ideology and the mindset that, look, I still live here.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything's going to be cool.
That's a different story. But if they're still living in their home, they still want it to be their home, but just minimalize.
Yeah, I had people take pictures down because they didn't want everybody to know who they were and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's definitely I can understand that. Or when we do photos, and they go on realtor.com or Zillow or homes.com or one of the sites, if we do pictures and those pictures are in the room,
they're everyone to see.
We have to blur them out or they're out there. So we wanted to make sure that, those things are depersonalized as much as possible for when you're selling a home.
Oh, I definitely feel like this is the time now to really get in touch with you, to start preparing.
Yeah. So
because every day matters. Like,
so if you want to get in contact with me, just to set up an appointment, we'll sit down, we'll go over it again, not only your home value, but also tell you what you need to do. I don't want to sound like an infomercial, but basically there's no fuss, no muss.
No, people need to
know. Having a conversation. Yeah, sitting down, having a conversation. Sitting down, having a conversation, and then what we'll do is we'll put together a game plan for you. Just list your home, all the things that need to be done, and
Mm-hmm.
then and hopefully we can work together and provide you the best options for selling your home.
Yeah, I mean, and if you need to run any numbers to make sure it makes financial sense, you can reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to just tell you what it is, what your proceeds are going to be, what the new interest rate looks like to purchase a new home. So that before you get started on your process, you know everything. And you've done that. You've given me clients and said, listen, they're selling this, they want to buy something new. Can you help them figure out what they can afford once they sell?
Yeah,
And you do a same day closing, so they take the proceeds from one, put it on the new one, and even a lot of times they can carry both of them and not even have to do a home home sale
yeah,
contingency. So there's so many different options out there. But I
yeah,
think getting your house organized, like you said, and talking to you about that and finding out what needs to be done is first steps, definitely.
yeah. Definitely.
Mhm.
First steps you have to do, getting your, and also, looking what you want to do, setting that, where you create a list of what's your goals, what am I trying to accomplish here? And then, meet with me. I'm more than happy to meet with you guys. Even if you don't live in, in the area, I mean, I handle mostly all New Jersey anyway,
You have,
but if you
you have
don't live
some
in the
places.
area, I can help you. I mean, I can at least give you advice.
Yeah.
And if you don't have someone, I can match up with somebody that would be able to help you.
Now, I know before we started, I said, get a picture of a pool. What is your feeling on pools? Do you-
Personal preference.
yeah. Do you,
Personal preference. Some people want a pool, some people don't want a pool. I mean, so it really depends on the value of what it provides. I have a young couple that's looking to possibly move. A pool's a big deal for them because they want to include it in their lifestyle or teach swimming or something like this. I have
yeah.
other people that don't want a pool because they don't just want the hassle and the maintenance of a pool.
Mm-hmm.
They don't feel like taking care of it, and then it's just going to sit there. So it really depends on. I hate to see you keep saying this, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
It depends on the persons and what they value. If you have five people that all wanted a pool in this gorgeous house, and then you're up against five people that all want a pool. If it's just you, then the other people just like
So
the house, but they don't
it's
like the
evened out.
pool. Yeah, it's that's an honest, common sense answer
Yep.
because do you want a pool or not? And that's why like in the MLS is so important that you make sure that if they have a pool, you put it in there. What
So they
type of
don't show up
pool?
at the house and say, oh crap, it has a pool. They didn't notice that underneath
Yeah.
the
There's a lot of expense with the pool. I mean, so people need to realize that too, and also the maintenance part of it and everything else. But if you're willing to do that and you really want a house with the pool, then that's what you want to find, or if does it have enough land to support one, or just certain different things. So does it provide value? Yeah, it does provide some
Mhm.
value, especially on appraisal. I think they said like your $5,000 to $10,000 depends. At the
Right.
one point, now this was a couple years ago. I haven't spoken to an appraiser about it recently, but it really depends on the person.
And if, make sure the pool's not, having to be decompositioned and removed out the ground. I've seen some of
Oh,
them trees growing out of it. Like, what is that? Now they have to have that whole thing taken out.
well, right, and you want to have a pool inspection.
Yeah. Okay.
I know there's definitely some reputable pool inspections. If you need somebody or if you need names, I could definitely forward them to you, because a pool inspection is important, and that's just another inspection to have. Your
Hmm.
inspections are very important. So, it might cost you anywhere from $600 to $800 to $1,000 total for an inspection, but at the
It's
end of the day, it's better than spending thousands and thousands of dollars or um, investing in a home that doesn't meet your needs. So yeah,
now, do people care so much about outdoor entertaining areas as they did right after COVID because people were all having their fire pits going and sitting outside in their yard because there was
yeah.
nowhere to go. Do you feel like that slowed down? That people don't really care about
No,
outdoor entertainment areas as
no.
much?
People still like to go outdoors. People still have their parties. People like social gatherings. Depends. Like once again, I hate to say it, but it always depends on the person. But a lot of people like the outdoor space, so they know they don't have to destroy the inside of their house when they're having friends over and whatnot. So a
Hmm.
lot of you do see outdoor kitchens, you do see outdoor the patios, you do see those kind of spaces where people can congregate. So yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely a benefit.
Well, I'm excited about this upcoming spring market. I feel like it's ready, but I'm
go in and out of space.
Being where they don't want to be. You know, everybody was holding out, waiting for that miracle rate to happen. So I'm not going to sell until the rates hit 3s again. And now they're realizing I'm here and I don't want to be here anymore. And
well, right.
I'm going to move on with my life. I want to live my life, you know?
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, you know, if you want to move, this is a great time. If you're trying to sell if you need, if you're looking to sell your home, it's a great time.
Yeah.
Just follow what your agent tells you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I said. You know, if it's me, just follow what I tell you. You know, don't try to reinvent the wheel. I'm just telling you because these practical things are so important to do before and prior to selling because you can't outthink it. I mean, it comes to, like I said, pricing, location, and condition. Those 3 things you have, you know, you have a great price, good location, and the condition is good. It should sell quickly.
Yeah, and
the price too high, it's not.
Are exactly the same, even though they're different. Because when people come to me, I said the first thing we have to do is prepare. Let's see what your credit looks like. Don't waste your money paying off old derogatory stuff because it's just going to be paid old derogatory. You know, when people will tell somebody, don't bother redoing this, you're not going to get the return on that. So it's all looking at the full picture and preparing for the best outcome.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, guys. I mean, I appreciate you guys joining us today. We talked about a huge topic, especially coming up on the spring market. But if you have any questions, because we're going to save this and it's going to be on the internet, whether it be through Facebook or our YouTube channel, ask away. You can put your questions or comments below, and we'll answer them right through this thread. And if anybody wants to get in contact with me, just please give a call at the number below. Or, you know, Kristen, they can get in contact with you. That's your site right there, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can get contact Kristen through Home Path Lending. She'll be able to provide information in regard to lending. I'll be able to give you information in regard to selling a home, or if you had any questions of buying a home, definitely be able to do that.
And I want to see the next screen behind you is going to be your next listing that you're going to get.
Oh yeah. So the next listing. Well, right now we're doing couple fixer uppers, which I do have, you know, been working with them. But yeah, we have a couple new ones that are coming up, and excited about that. So that's all I have for today.
On a list with you to see things that are coming soon and everything too. If somebody's out there looking,
yeah,
you get them on the little email list. So there's so many different things that they can do if they're ready to sell or buy.
We can definitely do that. So if they send me your message with your email and information, I'll be able to take care of that for you also. Okay.
Awesome. Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Bye.
All right. Bye.